Hi, everybody. Tell me if you can hear me. The first thing, like, right? First things first, sound check. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, that's much better, I think, right? Okay, let me deal with my other screen real quick so I can see what's going on. This one. All right. Yep, can hear you. Perfect. All right. So, hello. Welcome to Daisy Love Paint Party. My name is Luba Carlson. I am the artist here. I am the host of this group. I am super excited to have you here. So, Paint with Luba is the group where I teach free demos. I do it like now. My schedule changed, and so I'm offering two a month. It's usually the second and the fourth the second and the fourth Tuesday of the month when I do this. If you're new to me, you should know to check events in Paint with Luba group. That will help you see what's coming. I already have May events in there, so you can find what's happening. And I'm teaching two online classes at the end of this month. So one is Chunky Florals, and you can join this class for only $15. I just want to show you. I'm teaching two paintings. I'll be teaching how to create your own chunky florals, how to create your own petals, how to build a flower, how to work with negative space, and how to choose your colors. Like there's a little bit to learn here. And also, so I'm teaching this as a paint party, as an in-person paint party here in Omaha. And some ladies on my page saw it and asked me to offer it as an online paint party. So you can find this one also on my page. It's also $15 to join. If you paint online with me and you pay for access to something, replays are available for as long as you need them. So even if something happened and you couldn't make it to class, replays are available. Just like replays are always available for the free demos here. Okay. Now tell me, is this your first time painting with me, second time, or you're my regular? I would like to see who I have here. Hmm. I have another screen right here on the side, which helps me see your comments and know what's going on. All right, here we are. Because I'm streaming through StreamYard, and if you didn't give it permission to show your name, then on my side, all I have is Facebook user, and then sometimes I will see a name. So I'm going to just go back to your comments and say hi to everybody. Please forgive me if I do not call your name because we have a lot of people here. So I say hi to Donna and Sue and Leanne and Pam, Sue, Tanya, Veronica, Alice. Hi, Alice. Alice is my regular. Michelle. And I have people from Philadelphia, Ohio. I see people that I'm a regular first time, third time, first time, second, first time. Welcome, everybody. I'm super excited to paint this. All right, let me know if you have any questions, and we will just hop into painting um, um, without having to wait. Second painting ever. Oh my goodness. You're in for a treat. All right. So I hope you have a nice roll of paper towels with some sort of design printed on them, because this is what we're going to use to create. You see like the background? You see how fancy it is? That's a paper towel. I just used a paper towel to make it, and I'm going to show you how to stamp it onto your canvas. All right, so let me switch my camera to my desk. Before I do that, do me a favor. If you still do not, please hop onto my page, Luba Carlson Artist, and like and follow so that you get all the notifications about all the upcoming interesting things, because things are changing. And oh my goodness, I need to take off that ticker. Sorry, I completely forgot about it. It wasn't bothering me. All right. Okay, who's ready to play? Give me a thumbs up. I can't get on the video on my computer. Where would I go? On your computer, if you're right now on your computer, then you're right where you need to be. If not, you still need to go to the group and then click the refresh button, and it will refresh, and I should be somewhere. This video should be somewhere on the top. Okay, do we have thumbs up for those who's ready to paint? I see lots of thumbs up coming up. All right, let's do this. This is going to be so much fun. Okay, so I'm going to blow up this one. Hold on. Yes. So that you're not getting distracted with my talking head. Right? Okay, so if you're painting on canvas, you might want to grab your wide flat brush, dip it in the water, and just brush your canvas with a damp brush, not dripping brush, a damp brush, okay? So that your canvas gets a little bit of water in and it's not all super dry. All right, now while this is sitting, I'm going to put my paints on my paper plate, my palette. All right. Well, so this is okay, I need to mention that you are more than welcome to use your own color palettes, use whatever you think you like better, okay? What makes this painting so pretty is that it's pretty much in the same color scheme, right? It's like multiple shades of blue, a little bit of yellow, right? And white and black. So kind of if you decided to change your background, just kind of play with that and keep that in mind. Do not add a whole lot of colors, okay? I am not putting yellow on there yet because yellow's towards the end, so I don't want it to dry out. So I'm putting my peacock teal, my true blue, and my white on here. Okay. And I'm going to use my damp brush. If you're using paint paper, you don't need to dampen your canvas. Listen, I'm painting freehand, okay? If you wanted a tracer, there's two ways to do this. You might have done it already and you already have your outline. Just make sure that the lines are pretty thick because you're going to paint over it, and white usually covers quite a bit. Or we can paint the background, let it dry completely, and then put the daisies and the vase on so that it's easier to create the composition. Or you can just paint freehand, right? This is a lot of fun also. I really love doing that. You never know what's going to come, what's going to happen, right? Okay, so we're going to fill the flat brush, large flat brush with white, and we're going to grab a little bit of peacock teal on there, and we're just going to start more white, more peacock teal, and just kind of crisscrossy motions moving fast, putting a lot of paint on here, then dip in some True Blue, add some more, and just keep going, moving fast. The point is to not let this dry before we're ready for our, to make our stem or print with the paper towel. You can also use, like, if you have a printed napkin, whatever, anything that has a pattern on it will work just fine. And as I'm going, I'm also grabbing the sides so that I don't have to worry about it later. Just kind of, randomly put 3 colors on the same canvas. It's all gonna be good. It's really warm today here. I'm in Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska. And this morning it was super cold. And then in the afternoon, the temperature went like up into 80s. And so my studio is pretty warm right now. So I'm a little bit concerned that my paint is gonna dry faster than it did when I painted the same design before. And so if this is a concern, and if you have a small spray bottle with water, you can just grab that and just give it a little sprinkle of water so that your paint doesn't dry out so fast. Okay? Another way to do this would be to grab an old credit card or plastic card or a palette knife if you have one, and follow this up with just smoothing up a little bit with that. So I'm gonna show you what I mean. I know this was not in the supply list, so if you do not have one, please, you do not need it. It's fine. It's all gonna be great with or without it. See, I'm almost out of paint. I'm doing the back, the bottom, not the back, sorry, the bottom and the sides as I'm going, because it's easier to do right now than later to try and match the randomness of this gorgeous color. I'm just lifting it so that I can so I can paint the top. As you noticed, I didn't add any water to my brushes. I just want the paint here. I do not want anything else. So, okay, this is all covered pretty good. I'm gonna move fast here, so if you're still working on yours, maybe like take a second and watch what I'm doing. So I have my 15 below. Oh my goodness, that's cold. Okay, so I just have a regular paper towel roll, okay? So I'm just gonna get 1, 2, 3. They're like half sheets, and this will go in the middle. And you wanna put it like the quilted side down, like there is, I don't know if you can see, it's very hard to see, but you want to put the quilted side down and just put it on there and gently rub it into your canvas. Okay, And then you're gonna want, because it's not gonna fill all of this, and so then I'm gonna use just half sheets to finish this pattern. And I'm not very concerned that the direction of the pattern is different. If I were making maybe something like geometrically correct, and if it really bothered me, I would probably turn it so that it's geometrically correct. But in this case, I think we're good. So see, I kind of can see paint seeping through. Yeah, so at this point, I'm just gonna grab the top and gently peel it off. And then I will reuse this paper towel. I'll fold it on itself, and I will reuse it for my other painting to just dab my brushes and dry. So you just peel it off. Yeah. Okay, and let me bring this up a little bit up for you so that you can see, like I got these, like I got a pretty cool design here, which is like if you try and paint it by hand, right, that's kind of hard to do. All right, so at this point, we need to dry it. It needs to dry, okay? So I'm gonna grab my heat gun, if I can reach it. I forgot that I would need it. Got it. And I did not even put any paint on my clothes while doing that. That's a success. All right, so I'm gonna dry this, okay? You can use a blow dryer or a heat gun or even a fan, right? Just make sure that the temperature you're putting on your canvas is not hot, okay? So if you're playing with a heat gun here, make sure that you're moving it a lot because acrylics will burn and it's not gonna be pretty. All right, so let's dry this up. All right. How's everybody doing? Let me know if you're done with your background. Also, let me know if you are going to put the tracer on. It'll help me figure out how fast I can move with what's happening next. Okay. Now, if you still have the large flat brush in your water, please rinse it out and pat it dry on your paper towel. I am a big advocate of not having your brushes, not keeping your brushes in the water. Done drying, not tracing. Very good. I need to put the tracer on. Got it? Okay. All right. So, no tracer. Debbie, no tracer. Nancy's putting a tracer on. Alice has the background not using the tracer because she's on the smaller canvas. Carol is not prepared, she's just watching. Okay. Yeah, that's a way to do it. Also, my background is done. It has a tie-dye look. Ooh, love it. No tracer. Okay, so if you guys are doing a tracer, if somebody else is doing the tracer, make sure your background is fully dry. Okay, needs to be completely dry because otherwise you will mess up your tracer for one, and also it will not trace. Okay, you'll mess up your tracing paper. Okay, if you're using one or some, whatever. All right, so for the next step, you can use chalk for this step, or you can use a pencil, or you can just eyeball it, right? I am going to, oh, I know, you know what? I'm going to, let me think. Yeah, I'm gonna use my chalk. It's just seamstress chalk. It's just light, nothing, nothing crazy. Any school chalk would do. I like chalk because it rubs off clean once you're done. Okay, so we're going to think about our composition and where things are going. For that, we're going to pretend that the canvas is broken into 9 rectangles. It cannot be squares because canvas is not square, all right? So we kind of gonna imagine that there is lines going here and here across, right? And then down and down. So we're gonna break it down into thirds in vertically and horizontally at the same time, okay? And so as I am going to do this with chalk, just so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm usually just doing this in my mind, but I know that as a visual, it might be helpful. It doesn't need to be like mathematically correct thirds, just kind of ish, eyeball it. See, and since I wasn't doing a tracer, my canvas, I allowed it to not to be completely dry, but it still shows. So I have my lines. I hope you can see them. Okay. And so composition wise, what we want to do is, so we have rectangles starting from the left top corner. Okay, so let's number them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And so we want our daisies to be in the center of our composition. So up here, they kind of got a little bit too big. Like if I'm being honest, right, for this canvas, they got a little bit too big. I would like to move them lower a little bit now. So this is what I'm gonna do. I have in the rectangle, like in the part number 3 over here, right? I have half a daisy. And then like in number 1, I have 3/4 of a daisy, right? And right here in the bottom, which would be right between the 5 and the 2, right here almost in the center, right? We have a full daisy. So let's think about how we're gonna place those, where those daisies are gonna go on the canvas. So on our canvas over here, I want these petals over here to be right where the number 2, number 3, and then 5 and 6 meet. So there is like this intersection right here, right? And this is where I want this daisy. So I'm gonna draw like a half circle. Doesn't have to be like exact half circle, somewhat. And I think it's also gonna get huge. I just love huge flowers. I can't help it. And then I'm gonna connect it with a straight line. It's gonna help me shape that daisy. So that's gonna be the half daisy. It's gonna sit right here. Okay. The 3/4 daisy, I'm gonna bring it to this intersection over here, but I'm gonna move it a little bit lower and towards the center. Okay. So here I'm gonna give it also like this half a circle, half a smile kind of thing, right? And then I'm gonna close it over here. But then on the top, I'm gonna give it like a banana shape curve. I hope I'm making sense. Let me know if this is all making sense. I'm just making an outline. Just an outline. It's not even an outline, it's like borders. It's where the daisies are gonna go. Right? And then the daisy that sits in the center, this full daisy, this one, we're gonna put it right in here. So it's not symmetrical. See, the center is right. Okay, hold on. Hey, Cooper, drop. Drop.
Shut my door.
Shh. Okay. Okay. The dog stole the toy. The end of the world. The end of the world. Okay? Make sense? Juju said that she traced beforehand, background done, can see the sketch through the background. Perfect. Just sit tight for a minute, okay? Pam says, sounds like my house. Yep. Yep. Okay. And that is like the next step, right? We're going to put the vase in, and the vase goes in the middle. Okay? So for the vase right here, where's our number 8, I'm going to put my hand up over here and kind of mark this line. Okay? And so I'm going to make this to be my bottom of my vase. And maybe from here, kind of add around here and around here. And I'm just going to call this good enough. It gives me my lines in the sketch. I know what I'm doing here. I can see what goes where, and we can work with this. All right. So if you have your sketch, you already have like your tracer, you already have all your lines done for you, so you do not need to worry about that at all. Okay, so for the petals, I cannot decide honestly what I like best. Sometimes a round brush works best. This is a number 10. And sometimes like a smaller flat brush works best. And some people really prefer a filbert. So I think it's important to try different kinds of brushes and see what works for you. Uh, Most importantly, okay? I think since the petals are kind of closed, right? So like it's a coneflower. If it's a coneflower, then your petals are kind of broken a little bit. But these are very rounded and nice. So I'm just gonna go with my small flat brush. All right? So your small flat brush, and I'm gonna grab a clean paper plate because this one is a mess. And I am just gonna grab some white paint, just plain white paint. Add a little bit of water onto my brush. Okay, and I'm gonna start painting. And I'm gonna start painting. I'm gonna start at um uh, I'm gonna start with the 3/4. Okay, right here with this one. So first, we're pretty much painting the background for the rest of it, right? For the rest of the daisy. So first, we're gonna paint a center. And the top of this oval lies right on this line. See, there is a line. And I know that I will paint over it, so I'm not worried. Don't paint this line though, okay? Paint an oval. It will kind of ground you a little bit so you know where your petals go, okay? And also, all this white is gonna all this white is gonna block out the blue so that we can paint yellow center later. All right. So all you need to do is to find the center of your daisy. So this is gonna be kind of your center right here, right? It goes like this because it's at an angle. You cannot see the whole flower. And for the first petal, you're just gonna create a U shape, go back and forth, right? Down, around, and back up. And here we have a petal. Okay. So if you have a tracer, you can just go ahead and paint your whole flower, all the daisies, you can paint them white. Okay, that's going to be our first step. So the next petal, again, down and around. And I'm using my rounded line over here, that semicircle that I had. This is my line, my border. It shows me, okay, this is where you need to stop with this petal. It's not going any further than that. Also, if you do go some further than that, it's no big deal because daisies are flowers and flowers are very irregular. Okay, so there's another. It's really interesting how our eye compensates for imperfections in nature. Like I always, before I started to paint, I always thought that flowers were like the most perfect things out there, right? And then I started painting them and I started doing studies of them. And I realized that no, they don't even like, not even the same petal, not even once. All petals are usually different. It's just our eye that compensates for it. Okay. So yeah, something like that. Just put your petals in there. If you noticed, I don't know if you noticed, I'm not adding any water to my brush. I'm just using paint directly from the bottle. Okay, and so now I'm going up, and now these petals over here are going to be a little bit smaller, a little bit more rounded. Okay, not as long as the ones on the bottom of your flower. Something like that. Mhm. And now that I see it, I can go back and kind of take care of spaces between the petals if I do not like them very much. And again, this is personal preference if you like them or you do not like them. See, my blue background Even though I tried to dry it my best, it didn't dry quite well. And so I'm picking up a little bit of blue on my brush, and that's fine. It will only make my flower more interesting to look at. You do not want just flat white. Yeah? Okay. There we go. I'm gonna move on to the half flower that sits up here, and I think I made it quite big. You know what? I'm gonna fix that. This is this is a little bit too big, I think, for the scale that we have. So I'm just gonna make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, like that. That one was huge. Okay, so with this is an interesting one because it's just a half flower that we can see. So we have this line over here, right? And then we have the border to make it round. So right on this line, I'm gonna paint an oval, and it's gonna stick out of the line, okay? If you painted a gnome with me, it's pretty similar to painting gnome's nose and mustache. Very similar, okay? And then we're gonna add a petal coming out of the center here, going out here and back. So see, it's a little bit like tear shape, just a little, but there is a bit of a tear shape to this. Mhm. And we're going to repeat it on the other side. We're not trying to make them look exactly identical. That's not the point. But we want them to have an identical direction, the identical movement, so to speak. Okay. And then we're going to find the center here, and it goes down this way. This is our center. And we're going to add the petal in the center. And we're also going to make it an interesting shape. Because if we make all our daisies like the first one, like oh so, correct, it's not going to be fun to look at that painting. It's all going to be the same. We want to have fun looking at that painting. Okay. Now let's add, so over here in this space, I have enough room for two more petals. So I'm just gonna add one, and if it overlaps a little bit, it's fine. And two, and if it's not as big, if it's a little bit skinnier, it's also fine. And on the other side, I also have room for two. So I'm just gonna add one. Ooh, there we go. And another one. Ta-da! Again, I made these overlap. It's a little bit more fun when they overlap. It's natural. It's natural for petals to overlap. Okay, looking good. just saw that, and it bothers me because it's not there. It wasn't symmetrical and it bothered me. Okay, how's everybody? Let me know. All right, don't be shy. Let me know. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to the last one, the last daisy. Again, so for this one, the center is more rounded. It's not as much of an oval, but it does not have to be a perfect circle, okay? So just try to make it as rounded as you can. And then imagine that this is a clock, okay? So we're gonna add a petal at 12 o'clock. And 3 o'clock. And the 6. And the 9. Okay. Okay. And then there is a 1 o'clock. And then I like to put a 4 o'clock in. And the 6 o'clock. Now, do you have to do it this way? No. But it kind of makes it easier to spread the petals around evenly. And then it's 10 o'clock. Right. And then we have the 2 o'clock left. Just fill in the spaces. And then the ones that I'm painting last, the 2 o'clock, the 5 o'clock, these overlap, they go right top of the ones that were underneath. Okay? And there, that was an 8 o'clock. And of course, 11 o'clock. Here we go. Can we see a close-up of your daisy? Of course. Oh, would help if I didn't hit my table. All right, close-ups. So here's your 3/4. See, I have some bleeding of blue paint in there, and that's fine. I'm going to turn it so you can see the half. Here's the half daisy. And here's the full daisy. Okay. All right. So I'm grabbing a little bit more white because I'm running out. You are very welcome. Very welcome. Okay, so now I'm grabbing the same white paint, going back to the daisy that I painted first, and I'm going to add white streaks going from the tip of the petal to the center, but not all the way to the center. So you want to stop at some point. Okay? So we do not want to paint the whole petal white again. We want to leave some of this kind of bluish, a little bit grayish color. Just from the very tip of the petal to the center. If your petals don't look like, like if you see that your edges are not quite even, like here, do you see what I'm pointing at? See how the edge is a little bit messy? Do not worry about that because everything was going to be outlined later. Okay? So don't feel like you have to fuss over it. If you are a perfectionist like myself, I imagine that's what you're doing right now. Okay? I am not using any blue. It's all white. I'm only using white. If you see blue shining through, it's the blue from the background. Okay? This is where the paint, just maybe one coat of paint, or maybe not such a thick coat of paint. And that's what we want. We want the background to show through a little bit, just a little, not much. Okay, Alice, does this help? I see you wanted the close up. Yeah, I got it. No blue paint. No blue paint. Okay, y'all, I am seeing that we're getting weather. I just saw lightning. If I lose connection, if anything happens, okay, listen closely. If anything happens, let me get back to this so you can see me. La 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 la. Wait. Okay, here I am. So if anything happens and we lose connection, what I'm gonna do is I will finish the demo, okay, and I will upload it into the group and to Facebook. Okay, so we're not gonna lose anything. It just looks very stormy, very stormy. Like the sky is like this orangish green color, and if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And I have like lots of lightning happening. So I hope nothing happens. I hope we'll just keep painting. Just okay. Just know that. Now let's get back to the daisies. All right, so I'm just going to continue adding some white to the petals in the order I painted them, kind of, right? Because I want some petals to be brighter, some petals to be darker. So if you add like the same amount of white to your petals, to every petal, it's gonna look like they're like cut out of paper. They will look flat. So you want to add just enough, and it's like, when do you know when it's enough? Um, when you know when it's enough? When you look at it and you think, oh, let me do just this one more thing. And that's when you stop before you do that one more thing. Okay? Because it's too easy to go into fixing something that's not even there. Okay? Ta-da! Oh, I love them. They are going to be so pretty. So see what happens with the half daisy. It's even better to show. It's easier to show. See how the background kind of shines, pretty much almost shines through the first coat of white paint, and it creates this kind of shadow play right? So that it looks like a flower. It doesn't look like a flat something. Yeah. Okay. All right. Gonna do the next one. No, not green. This guy's not green yet. It's kind of orangish green, yellowish green. I don't know. We'll see. Um, when you a storm was, they were expecting a storm, but like we didn't know how bad that would be. We'll see. I don't think anything bad would be today. And God knows Nebraska could use some rain. Okay, so I'm doing the same thing, adding a little bit of white to the tips of the petals of the daisy. That is a whole full daisy here. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. If you're my regular, you know that if Luba doesn't start sneezing in the middle of the painting, that's not Luba. That's somebody else. Always happens, no matter what I do. Okay. Okay, so remember how I told you not to fuss over your petals? Yeah, I'm fussing. I need to stop. Okay, no more fussing. Done fussing. Thanks. Thank you for blessings. Yes, it looks like shading. Pam says it looks like shading. Yes, it's a very easy way to get that look without having to go back and forth and shade and dry brush and and like all of that. You can just do it this way. It's easier. All right. So, okay. So now I'm gonna put a little bit of primary yellow on my palette. Ah, Um, there's chairs out on the deck. Could you fold them up, please? All right. And I'm gonna use my brown brush. I just put it in the water and removed some water, so it's not dripping wet. Okay. And I'm gonna grab some yellow right on the tip. Right on the tip. Okay. And we're gonna paint the center of the daisies. But look, I want you to look. Whatever you're doing right now, I want you to look up into your screen and see how I'm doing this. I'm holding my paintbrush at the wrong end, so it's very loose. Okay, the paintbrush is super loose, and I am gonna dab like this. Okay, and so this is the effect. This is what we want to see. Okay, now if you, let's say, don't do this, like if we just do this, filling up that center, this is what we're gonna get. That's not what we want. Okay, so again, put some paint on the tip, hold your brush at the wrong side, make it long, and just go dab, dab, dab. All right. Okay, let's do this. This is gonna be our first layer of for the center, and I'm just go dab, dab, dabbing. Okay. And I'm turning my brush around as I'm going to do this because there's a lot of paint in it. I want these. See over here, it's like not an even circle, right? I want that. I really, really want that. That's what makes it look natural. I'll bring it a little bit up higher. This one. And just one coat and stop. Okay, now we need to let this dry. There's 3 coats or 4 coats of paint right now. We want this to dry before we keep going. And I'm gonna turn my canvas so that when I'm working on the half daisy, it's easier for me to keep the same direction. Alice round brush, number 10 for the center. Okay, round. All right, grabbing a little bit more paint. Okay, and just kind of dabbing to cover this whole oval that we have. And I'll bring this up in a second so you can see what I mean here. Okay, so look at the center. Let me see there. See how it's all not even. It's not an even line, right? Okay, it's a little bit messy. That's what we want. Okay, so I just grabbed a little bit more paint on my brush because my brush is. So the brush is drying out super fast, but I am trying to avoid adding water to it because, for one, it will dilute my color, so it's not going to look as bright. And then also, what's going to happen is that it's going to take forever to dry, and I don't want that. Okay, the center. So for the center, we're going to go and try and do this as a clock again, right? But we're gonna go like 12, 1, 2, 3. So you will have to turn your brush in your hand like this around, or turn as you go, turn your canvas as you go. Okay? So whichever works, make it work for you. Make it comfortable so that you know, like make your hand comfortable. Hold on just a second, okay? All right, so we have here in Omaha, Nebraska, we have a tornado warning. It hasn't been that we need to go in a shelter just yet, but we might have to. So if we do again, I will complete this for you guys later and post it. So see what I'm doing? I'm dabbing. Let me bring this up so you can see closer. Here, closer view. So see the shapes that I'm creating? That's what we want. Okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks, Pam. I mean, it's a downside of living in Nebraska. It's kind of one of those things. Like you don't get any rain, but if you get it, you get all of it. With everything that comes with it also. So let's hope this tornado doesn't hit anybody and just goes away. Just go away. Okay, so let's fill up. So my husband told me that he keeps an eye on it, and he'll let me know if we need to go in the shelter. Okay. So this is what we're looking for. Uneven. Okay. The people are amazing. Yes. Yes. People of Nebraska are amazing. Okay. More on that brush. Okay. Same round brush. Back to the 3/4 daisy, right? And I'm just gonna add a little bit more yellow in the center. Kind of work off all of that. Just to add a little bit more yellow, and then I'm gonna go to the other daisy, add a little bit dab here and there. Don't try to make it like yellow is all I see. It's good if you can see other colors in there. If something shows through, it's a good thing. Okay. All right, rinse out my brush. Debbie says started started a little late, 5:20, watching and waiting for the start over video. Nice techniques. Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you watching. And this live obviously will be available right away. And I usually take until the next day to add the video to YouTube. Sometimes it's easier to watch on YouTube. Well, at least I prefer my tutorials on YouTube. Pam was scared to do it. Oh, don't be scared. Listen, what is the worst thing that can happen? Okay? What's gonna happen if you mess up? For real. Like, what's gonna happen? Really, nothing's gonna happen. Okay? Alright, so let's grab some teal. And I've messed up lots of canvases, trust me, I have. And I just paint over them. I paint it over and, paint something else. Pam says, but you think I can now? Yeah, yes. Hi from Australia. Oh my goodness. Wow, Deborah, that's a long way from here. What time is it there? Is it like 7 in the morning there, or is it later? I think it's like 16 hours difference from here, right? So it must be more. It must be like maybe 10 in the morning. Debbie says, I won't be able to see it until tomorrow, you think. No. You can still watch the replay of this live in the group. You can still do that. It will be available right away. That's how Facebook works. But if you'd rather use YouTube for, it's easier to fast forward, pause, like sometimes I like to speed things up and slow them down, and all of that. So on YouTube, I will upload it tomorrow. Okay. Okay, so I told you to grab some teal. We're gonna put teal highlights in, and you can do it in a few different ways. All right, so I think here I just used a round brush and I just kind of messily kind of brushed it on. You can use a flat brush and kind of do the same thing. You can use a flat brush and kind of dry brush things on. So let me demonstrate what I'm talking about, okay? So one way is to use a round brush. Here we go. And it's full of paint. It was wet before I put it in paint, okay? And you just kind of do these controlled highlights on your petals, okay? Or you can use the same brush, but you move your hand to the other side of your brush to the tip. and you kind of make more messier marks. See, they look different. They're not as controlled. Okay? Or we can grab the flat brush, put some paint on it, and then remove most of the paint, take it off, and then just use that to add more like shading. Okay? So do what you want to do. Just think and try. Like, what are you most comfortable with? I think that if you are like a total beginner and still finding your way around your brushes, I would recommend the first one. And this is exactly what I'm going to do so that you can follow. Okay? But if you feel a little bit more confident with your brush, play with it, see what happens. Okay? So again, I had a brush full of water and I loaded it full. This is a round brush number 10. And I'm just gonna go into my petals and I'll have a controlled brush. So I am grabbing it right where the metal meets the wood right here. I should know these names of the parts. I don't know them. So and I'm just gonna add, see, like that, super fast. You just kind of apply pressure to your brush and you go up and down, just like that. Okay? And I'm gonna add some to the. So this one, it's important. See, like these two petals follow the direction of the petal. Okay? And here as well, give it some bend. Don't make it just a straight line. Give it some bend to it. Okay? Yes, my brush was wet first, Leah. Am I saying it right? Is it Leah? Um, uh, my brush was wet, wet. See, I don't know if it shows. And then on the wet brush, you want to put some paint. So you want it pretty wet. Now, if you don't make it super wet and you end up with chunks of paint there, that's also pretty. I really like the look of like when there is texture to it. It is super pretty. So I just rinsed off my round brush and I'm getting ready to use black. I really love Deco Art Americana black because it's just the right consistency for line work. Okay, so I'm going to use a smaller round brush for this. So if you have like a number 4 or maybe even a 2 would work. If all you have is a number 10, I just would ask you to not like push it down as you paint, but to just use the tip of your brush so that your line stays thinner. Okay? So I'm gonna work on the outline and on the daisies with black. I have my number 4 round brush and I'm gonna load it up with black. Just like that. Okay. Do not, and I repeat, do not draw a circle around the center of your daisies. Okay. We are just outlining the petals. And for the petals, I like to find ones that are like which part of this petal is on top of the other, this part. So I'm just gonna start with that, bring it to the other petal, and I'm gonna stop because these petals overlap. Okay, And then I'm gonna go back here. And I'm really using a loose hand. Like, you do not want this to be like super, I don't know, stuffy, I guess. Like, your lines should be natural and maybe even shaky sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so just outline, we're just outlining those petals. It's really coming down. I can hear the rain. Forget this one. Okay. And then go ahead and start working on the other ones. And if you feel like the paint isn't spreading nice, like it's too dry, like you're trying to paint and it's like not cooperating, right? Dragging. Put a little bit of water on your brush. It should help. Okay. All right. So I'm adding a little bit more water. There. Okay. And now I'm gonna paint the center one. So I'm gonna start with the petals that are on the very top. So okay. So simply outlining. Nothing hard here. Honey, go get a book. Go get a book and come sit with me. Go get a book and come sit with me. All right. And I'm going to use this brush, the same brush, to outline my little vase here. So I'm just gonna paint this part over here, so it's kind of an egg almost, right? And the base. Okay. Pam says, just in case if you have to go, thank you. Okay. Well, so far we're doing okay. Husband keeps an eye on the weather radar, and we're all good. We're just in a storm. It's just a storm. It's okay. We're good. Just a lot of water coming down. It's all good.
You're not going outside, you're just looking.
Oh my.
Okay. So let's add. Let me show you on the reference right here. So we're gonna add those little what do they call, lines, shading to each of the daisies. We're using the same number 4. Yeah. So I'm just gonna start next to the right where the yellow is and just add a few. Just a few lines, and I really like to make them curvy, closer to the edges of the petal. Just kind of adds a little bit more movement to your daisy. Okay. And a little bit more here. And then remember for half daisy, we're gonna follow the direction of the petal. Just add things here and there. And again. Just like that. Okay. And then of course our daisy, that's the full daisy. We're just gonna do the same around the clock kind of thing. Just add. Try not to overdo it, because if you make it too black, too dark, it's gonna look different. Okay. Using the same brush, same black, okay? We're gonna use the same type of a stroke that we did when we put yellow on, okay? So we're gonna go like this, pat, 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 tap, tap, tap. Yeah, holding the brush on the other side and going tap, tap, tap. So let's look at the 3/4 daisy. The tap, tap, tap only goes on the bottom part right here. And we're just gonna stop. Just like that, okay? And for the daisy that's in the corner here, the half daisy, we're kind of gonna do almost 1/3, okay? So again, start over here. And just add that to just one side like this. And then the daisy, that's the full daisy, also gets the same as the half daisy. We're just doing this part over here. That's it. Nothing else. And now we're gonna add seeds to our centers. A lot of you, is it Wyoming? Is that right? WA? Hi, Rose. Okay. And so for the seeds, listen, they need to be super tiny. Okay, super, super tiny. So if you're not comfortable doing this with the brush, I recommend to flip your brush over and use the other side. So let me show you. I'm gonna do some seeds with the brush and some seeds with the wrong side of the brush. So wrong side of the brush goes into black paint. And we are just adding black seeds, mimicking the black that we just painted, just a little, okay? Don't overwhelm it. You do not want to put a lot in there. Just like that. Okay? And I'll bring this up to the camera so you can see closer what I mean. Okay, so that's the wrong side of the brush. See what I mean? Just a little, okay? There's that one. Just a little. Or we can use the brush, the round brush, but we need to be very careful and we need to have paint on the very tip. Okay, and we can just do the same thing with that. My broken brush separates into two sometimes, but that's okay. This is when I tell you guys to, if you would like to buy me a coffee, then you could go to buymeacoffee.com/Luba Carlson, and then whenever you guys buy me coffee, I actually buy me brushes and paints. Because my brushes are breaking. Okay. All right. So we're at this point. We're gonna add twigs, stems in the water next. So let me show you how to create those twigs. This is what I used to think was so intimidating and hard, but it really is not, okay? So I added a little bit of water to my black paint so that it's a little bit more spreadable. And I'm gonna use my number 4 round brush, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag it over the canvas while twirling it in my fingers, okay? So here we go. I want one over here, so I'm gonna start and I'm gonna go up. See, my hand is at the wrong side of the brush. Very loose control. Okay, here we go. Drag and twirl. Here we go. And then I want to add something to it. And I want one to go over here. Twirl and push it up. And maybe another one. Yeah, and maybe out. Okay, and then from here, let's send one down. Why not? Down. And then of course we want one to go this way. And maybe this way. Okay, nothing hard. Now I'm gonna grab some more paint and I'm gonna fix these. So just using the same brush, just gonna go down carefully, and I need more water on my brush. My brush is drying up so fast. Okay, just go back. I'm gonna fix it, but don't worry about it. It doesn't need to be super perfect because we're gonna put white little baby breaths on all over these. Sort of baby breaths. So just kind of fix it in the spots where you think that it's super necessary, but leave the rest alone, okay? And then for my stems, I'm not gonna overthink it. So here's my middle, my stem goes probably a little bit here, you can see it, I don't know. Maybe here you can see it. And then all the way to the bottom. And that's it. Here's my other stem, but here's my middle. Here's my stem. I'm using the same black paint, yeah? Here's my stem going down. There you go, right? Here's my last one. No, this one can sit, it's probably bending towards, right? So the stem can be like all the way back there. So pretend it's here, yeah? And then each of those twigs have a stem, so let's just add a couple here and there. I'm rinsing my brush because now we're gonna move on to white. We're gonna paint white. We're gonna do all the highlights now. Okay. So for highlights, for this, for the baby breath, I really want to use the back of my brush, and I'm gonna look for a brush that's a little bit bigger, so like the back of my number 10 round brush seems like a good size for this. What I also really like using is, I don't think I can find it right now, for things like that. So the eraser here, any school pencil eraser that hasn't been used makes great round stamps. A fun thing to try if you have access, if you have it, a straw. It will make fun shapes also. So yeah, be creative. Be creative. Another way would be, that is a super messy way, super messy. You can use a toothbrush and like have a paper to cover the rest of it and just sprinkle with a toothbrush. It will give a completely different effect. Would be also super fun. What did I find here? This is not good. Hold on. Here. This could be fun. It's a glue brush, right? But it has like interesting texture to it. So this could be fun to add blooms like that. So again, use your imagination. Do what you like. Do what makes you happy. You can even use Q-tips, like tie up 3 or 4 Q-tips together with a rubber band and just use it as a stamp. Anything goes here. There's no right or wrong. So I'm just using the back side of my brush, adding whites, and I am avoiding the black branches right now. So I'm just adding to like around those black branches because the branches are still wet. So by the time I'm done adding white dots everywhere else, those branches will dry and I will be able to come back and add some more. Don't get caught on, oh, what shape is this? Oh, it needs to be perfect. It's just a filler, really. Details and fillers don't need to be perfect. Okay, if you're using the back of your brush like this, those dots are gonna take longer to dry, so be aware of that. Do not put anything on top of your canvas for the next like 48 hours, okay? Because they will stick. Acrylics need time to cure. All right. So I'm pretty happy with this for now. Not done. I'm just happy with this for now. I'm gonna use my flat, small flat here. I'm gonna grab some white and we're gonna add water to the base. Okay, make sure all your black is dry. So I'm seeing this is not dry over here, but it doesn't bother me in any way because my water is going up here. So I'm just gonna add my water line, just like that. Okay, and I'm gonna add water streaks, kind of resembling these stems that we just put in. Okay, and I'm gonna add a little bit of white here on the bottom of the vase to kind of ground it a little. Maybe a little bit of white here to create this water kind of thing. Yeah. And then I'm gonna use the same messy brush that I have with white, okay? And I'm gonna grab a little bit, whatever I have left over of this teal. I really need just a tint, okay? A tint, like a little bit. It's just a little bit of teal with this white. And I'm gonna use it to add a highlight on the glass which goes over this white. So like that. And then a highlight here. And maybe a highlight right here. Yep. I think my brush got too dry and the highlight is not coming the way it wanted to come. So I'm just adding a little bit of water. There. I'm rinsing out my flat brush and I'm heading back to the number 10 round with white. I'm gonna add some more white dots to the twigs, and this time I'm adding them in spots on top of the black twig. Here and there.
I'm not, I'm gonna start the shower for you.
Also,
You sure?
okay, leave it. Cooper, leave it. All right. So, well, looks like it all is getting super quiet now. We're not getting anything anymore. Like a little quiet thunder, not much. It looks like the weather scared us and then went to do its own thing. You know, sometimes that happens. Okay, I'm not complaining. I am not complaining. We just got our trees trimmed today. So I was kind of worried yesterday when I read that we were going to get a storm. I was very concerned because we have quite a few old trees. They're new to us. We just moved here to this house. But we really, really wanted to deal with that before something bad happens. All right. And now I'm going to grab my number 4 round other side because I want smaller dots. And I'm going to add a few smaller dots, kind of a little bit on top and in between of those seed dots that we have on our daisies. Just kind of, not a lot, just a few. Don't go crazy. Although if you want to go crazy, go ahead. All right. Well, I don't know what you like to use. I sometimes use a marker, sometimes I use a super small brush, but go ahead and grab something and sign your painting because we are done. 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 Right? Okay. So, who has questions? Let me know. I'm just hanging here for another minute or so. I'll just hang around, and it usually helps to grab the painting and show it in a different camera because the colors show different usually. See, it's amazing how you would just switch in the camera view, you get a whole different. Ooh, I just thought, if you guys have metallics, just a few dots, just like you added a few dots of white and black for seeds, right? You can add some metallics like that, and you also can add metallics for the twigs, and it will totally bring this make it even brighter, even prettier, if you would like to, of course. All right. So I hope you had fun. You are very welcome. Welcome, Janie. Welcome, Alice. Welcome. Last yellow like pollen. Yeah, it's like pollen. All right. So again, so next time we're painting cherry blossoms, and that one is a palette knife. If you don't have a palette knife, you can use an old credit card, but that one is so much fun because you get to mix. We'll be playing with cool and warm tones, and we'll be doing a one stroke flower. I'm going to show you how to paint a cherry flower in one stroke. It's just amazing. All right, have a great night. Don't forget to post your pictures. Please post in the group. I would love to see your paintings. And I think that's it. Okay, I'll see you around. Bye.